Viewer discretion is advised. Your fave will be criticized.
That's Chris.
That's Jan.
And welcome to CTTV, the nonstop pop show.
And today we will be discussing 17's latest title track, Hot.
If you're wondering who we are, Chris and I have a huge range of experience in the music industry, from performing on stage to working at record labels, so we have a lot of insight into the crazy music industry. And you can also come join us in these crazy conversations on Patreon at patreon.com/cctvpops. And shout out to our crew members, Lisette, Lily, and Emily. Boop, 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 boop.
Yes. All right. So we have done an episode about 17 before, but you know, we had a lot of requests to keep it going. So we are talking about the new title track. But before we start, do you like 17? Any new thoughts on them?
Well, yeah, I've been a fan since like the beginning. I got introduced via a friend of mine, but yeah, I've been a fan of them for a really long time. Even ran like a blog about Jisoo, aka Joshua. Shout out Pocket Size Jisoo on Tumblr. But yeah, you know, the boys are great. They're really talented. They were one of the first like self-produced idols of the third gen. So people were like, oh my god, this is amazing, because we had only seen it with YG, right? So it was really exciting. And, you know, I got into Monsta X a little bit after, so I kind of fell off. But then when I came back, I was like, whoa, their music got so much better. And it's nice to kind of hear their music now that they're grown men and doing their schmexa thing. Because we all know, I've been trying to do like a 101 episode on them, but they have so many albums and there's so much to cover about them and like the whole history with Pledis. But, you know, leave a comment below if you would like for us to cover that on any episode. We will definitely try to do that for you all. But or join our Patreon. But yeah, how do you feel about them? What do you think about the boys?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about 17. I do think they're one of the most talented groups out there right now. They're very well-rounded. Like, all the members are important, and they all contribute something different to it, which is great in a group that has so many people. And yeah, I think their music has gotten really consistent, and yeah, they all seem just genuinely very committed to the group, which is great. I do have to mention that we did together go to the 4D screening of 17 Power of Love here in New York. That was an interesting experience. The moving chairs to their very difficult choreography was not really what I wanted. You didn't enjoy the rain and stuff. I actually liked the rain, but
the misting. I didn't like the certain parts. I was like, oh no. You know, like, it's misting. Yeah,
but the jerking of the chairs was really not for me. But it was great to see them on a giant screen. They looked great.
Oh my god.
They are growing up very well. But let's talk about the new song. Is it a bop or a flop?
Welcome to Is It Boppin'? Here, we talk about the production, lyrics, music video, and everything in between. So let's find out, is it a bop or a flop?
So Hot is the title track from the fourth album, Face the Sun, which was released on May 27th, 2022, and it was done by Alex Keem, Bumzu, Dan August Rigo, Poi Pararin, Praison, Soft Serve Boy, Tim Tan, and member Woozy. So, let's talk about the song itself first. Yeah, I did a really good job just then. I hope I did that right. I think I did. Okay.
That's great.
Anyway, let's talk about the song first. Let's not get distracted by these visuals yet. Yeah, what did you think of the song and the production?
These are the visuals. Okay, so, listen. It's hard not to think about their faces when they look so good.
It really is.
Second. But yeah, there aren't a lot of production change-ups in this song. There are some sounds like here and there that are interesting, like the siren that goes whoop. You know, it's a quick whoop siren, which is cute. You know, it's interesting to hear stereotypical things that go with hot, you know? Even with the Western kind of production, you're thinking dry, hot, Wild West, horses, maybe even racing, like, you know, Mad Max, if going beyond the horse, right? You're thinking Mad Max, you're thinking just chase. Or even if you're like me and you're like really weird, you're thinking Kill Bill, you're thinking that hybrid of some type of Western kind of cool with the, I don't know how to describe it, but there's something about it that just feels like 2000s pop, but not in the sense where like it sounds like that kind of music, but just reminds me of the Neptunes, like very early Neptunes adding rockish guitars, right? So for those who don't know who the Neptunes are. It's a combination of Chad Hugo and Pharrell Williams, and they did songs like Milkshake, Britney's Boys, and so I can go down a list, okay? But earlier in their careers, they were known as skater boys, and they would add guitars and nice little riffs in their songs, like in Rockstar or She Wants to Move. Granted, this song doesn't do that, but I wish. I feel like a nice rockish guitar riff, or even the little kind of just badass guitar riff would have kicked this song up a notch a little bit more, especially in the tail end of the song. Doesn't mean it's bad, but it's just one of those things where I was like, oh, this is a little understated for you. And even with Mr. Lou, that was sampled by Black Eyed Peas, like that ha ha. That just adds a certain kind of like Need for Speed, Fast and Furious kind of thing. But you know, this was a nice little cool moment for the boys, because usually they're very loud, very you know, bombastic. My favorite word.
Yeah, it's definitely usually a little brighter, right? So to have them do something that's now a little darker and sexier is good. It's finally really. I think I that twangy guitar that starts the song, I do wish that was more prevalent throughout the rest of the track, because it did throw me off. Because when I heard the intro, I was like, ooh, this is going to be cool. There's like this kind of mild country influence, which then doesn't really last throughout the whole song. I will say that little siren whistle thing that does go through the whole thing, though, I love it. I think it's awesome. It's almost more catchy than the actual like melodies of the what the boys are singing. Like, I remember that woo, woo, just as much as I remember the ha ha, you know. But like the ha ha, I mean, that's fine as a hook, but it's not the most unique, right? I appreciate the whole chorus is sung pretty low. That's oh my gosh, you know, it's not like DK. It's you know them all just like all their main vocal lines singing the like the ha So that was refreshing. But yeah, I agree. I think I like the idea of them doing something with a bit more swag. And there are cool elements in the track, but overall not the most memorable. And I couldn't really sing anything more to you other than the ha, ha, ha. Yeah, and I've listened to it now like 30 times, I think, before filming this. So yeah, not my favorite. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the vocals, though. What did you think?
Yeah. Because the production is kind of just following this very just standard issue kind of pop production, you know, verse, chorus, verse, bridge.
Yes.
And, you know, their vocals are the most dynamic part of this song. I think Rap Line sounded super cool. I'm pretty sure a lot of fans are watching this, but if you're not a fan, you don't know who Rap Line is, that's S Coops, that's Mingyu, that's Vernon, that's not Dino. That's Wonu. There we go. So yeah, they sounded really cool. Like a lot of the first verse raps where the throwing of the words at the end in the phrases was like da 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 da. It's very much like Migos. You know that da 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 da. What I cannot speak Korean very well, so for me to actually say it is rough. But the ad-libs had the auto-tune, and the lines had some of the auto-tune, so it, again, brought back that Migos kind of energy, maybe Future, maybe Travis Scott, so it fit that trap element of the song, and it makes it really fun in those places. And the vocal line, excluding Seungkwan and DK, they were holding it down. Like their voices kind of sit really nicely in this like lower tone, kind of singing, being cute pop boys. And you're like, oh, okay, these songs are really loud and energetic. Where do they fit? Right in this kind of song. You have Junghan kind of taking the hot, 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 and it sounds fine. If you would have had DK going hot, 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 it would have been like, wait, what? No. So things like that is where these members shine. Joshua sounded really good. Even he had auto-tune on his voice, and I was like, ooh, Jisoo. Oh my goodness. Like those parts needed those lighter tones to deliver the smooth quality. And I think shout out to Hoshi giving us a little falsetto moment in the song. You know, it was nice because there's not a lot of falsetto at all in the song. Even with DK kind of singing in his mixed voice, it's no falsetto. The song doesn't go anywhere high really, which is nice and different for them. These guys are good at anthems, you know? They have Chuck, they have Clap. And this song is one of those songs that is also anthemic in a sense because Carrots can feel like they're part of the group. They're singing, you know, like say dugoa dugoa, or even the woo woo and woozies part. I sound crazy, but the woos and woozies part. It's fun. They're not actual words, but Carrot always can sing with it during fan chants during the concerts. And if you don't speak Korean, you can say hello, to participate, you know? So I love that they kind of still have elements of who they are vocally, even if production-wise it doesn't sound like them, you know? What do you think about the vocals?
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, the group is always good about vocal distribution and making sure each member gets their little moment. But yeah, I think the choices of auto-tune in it are it's just the right amount. It could have very easily gone to be too much, but luckily they kind of only do it for like a couple lines here and there, and then it's kind of surrounded by regular processing. That's not auto-tune. So no, yeah, I think those choices were really good. I love that little beatboxing end to the intro that the 8 does.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. And that part definitely stands out to me. Yeah, but I have to say the backing vocals kind of disappoint me in this song. I think the layers and stuff are cool in parts of it, but imagine like actual like NSYNC-esque harmonies and oohs and ahs in the back to kind of add some sweetness to the ha, you know, like I think it would just add so much more dynamic to it. It just feels like it could have a whole other dynamic that's not there. So that's the only criticism I think I have.
That makes sense. That was my thing too. I was just like, 'cause even with the pre-chorus when it came back around with like Hoshi singing it at one point and then June singing it, it just didn't have that extra oomph that would have just taken it to like a dirty pop with freaking the harmonies in pop even. That's a cool song. It's understated, but you can. They needed something like that. You're right. Yeah, they needed something to kind of add some sabor, some little spice here.
Yeah, and when you have this many voices, it's like you could all sing together. Hello. I know that's like a K-pop thing to like not sing together now. Like SHINee's like the only one I think that still does like choruses together. But yeah, it's interesting. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the lyrics. Kind of what you said earlier, they're finally doing something a bit sexier. It's not like a love me, please situation, which is refreshing. And it's perfect for the summer. They're feeling hot. The song's hot. It's getting hot.
Yes. Hello. Okay, listen, y'all. If you are new here, which you shouldn't be, and if you made it this far in the video, definitely subscribe to us because we are a good time.
Yeah, we are.
But yes. My biggest complaint, not even complaint, but one of my biggest notes for a lot of boy groups is that they're sitting in this whole like, oh, woe is me, oh, woe is me, See, right there, that's the song right there, right?
That's going to be the next one.
Oh my God. If I hear one more sexy sad boy song, I might launch myself out a window. It's not that it's bad, but the whole like, you know, I'm broken-hearted, body roll, broken-hearted, I'm over it. This right here is like, you know, we're the hot ones. I'm here for the hot boy concept, okay? Hot boy concept. I know it's not a common thing that anyone really knows what it is, but when you think hot boy, think Missy Elliott hot boys. You know, you have the motorcycles and the muscle tanks and the Cuban links and the mesh shirts and the colors. Okay, give it to me, all right? Just give it to me. And I love that because it's just like the song is hot. They look hot and the lyrics are about being literally hot and it's so funny because like the song is like poetic. I'm just thinking like they're just being like, we're confident, it's hot. Yeah, it's like, no, complete opposite. It's like, you know, we are, you know, gonna face the sun and we're gonna set that crap on fire. I'm like, oh wow, that's great, you know. And they're like, we're hot, the song is hot, and if you want to join us, that's fine, or you can just watch us become the sun. And I'm like, what are these lyrics? It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. And I like the one line at the beginning about like them riding the chariot across the sun. That's Mingyu's line. Because that's an ode to Apollo. That's the Greek god of the sun. He rides his chariot. And like a lot of recreations of the Greek mythology story with Apollo have him as like this really cool guy. Because obviously he's on the sun, you know? And I like that they kind of have it, you know, not explicitly about a woman. The song is not about, girl, you're hot, I'm hot, we're hot, let's be hot together. It's just like, no, as a group, we're hot, and this song is hot. Whether you like it or not, we're hot, hot, you know?
Which then goes back to the anthem thing that you were talking about. You know, like it really is just like a fun thing for everyone to sing along to that they can relate to. You know? So yeah, that's really good and refreshing after like all the Ready to Love and all that kind of, that what they were
Yes,
doing
now.
before.
Now can we
Okay.
talk about how good
we're going to talk about the video. Okay. So, I love the video. I'm going to just say, we already said they look really good. That's all I'm going to say about that. You can go ahead and thirst more. But the actual scenes themselves are actually really, really cool. I think sometimes with their videos, there's so much going on because they have like multiple group scenes with multiple costumes. Then they each have solo scenes. Some of them have multiple solo scenes, and there are 13 of them. So it's already like, there's like 20, 30 different scenes going on in a 3-minute video. And so sometimes it can get really busy. In this case, I think they actually handled it very well. Nothing was too distracting. Yes, there were some indoor scenes, there's some outside scenes, there's some night scenes, but it was done in a way that it wasn't too busy. So props to the editing people. I also love the extra graphics that were added, the graffiti that shows up, just like the flashing kind of random graphics that show up. Really dynamic, and the musicality in it is really, really cool. My favorite of the individual scenes, I have to give a shout out. The 8 with the red hair and the knives spinning on the thing.
On that compass,
yes,
that's
so cool. That was such a good scene. Very memorable. And I do love the build to the explosions and the burning sun being super close at the end. Just a super fun video to watch.
Totally. I think the set design was great. I mean, that one, like, Harley Quinn-esque Birds of Prey scene that they're dancing in with the sun rotating and that the metal piece being almost like an eclipse. That was interesting to see. They had a lot of imagery in this video. And, I mean, we both edit for the show. And it's like, when you have stuff to add to the video, like, okay, all right, let me just put this on, let me superimpose something. But they went above and beyond. On occasion, when I edit, I go, like, I do extra stuff and I have to move something, or I, like, do masking here and there. Masking is when you guys, like, trace out an outline and then add an image behind it. So during a transition, it looks like you're looking through a hand, and all of a sudden the next member is through the hands. Things like that make the video so much more dynamic, and it's very entertaining to watch because you have one move with his hand, and you have June coming through the hand. You'll have different kind of, like the letterbox coming in on the 8 during his cutting section, and in his hand like it's popping out. It just adds that extra 3D effect. We never see it again, except with maybe some framing around, Hoshi doing his little exploding gun guitar thing. So the video is really dynamic. It's really effective. The color grading is great. The red and the oranges, occasional blues. It's just very warm. And when it wasn't warm, it was cool. So it's very, very just intentional, simple and very effective. I think the certain set pieces were really nice, like the temperature wall that they're laying on. They used that. I thought that was really cool because I thought it was like a police lineup, one of those like height thingies. No, it's a temperature. I was like, oh, that's cool. I think it was in Fahrenheit. So so
I hate Fahrenheit, but okay.
I know. A lot of my students do too. But
makes no sense, people. But yeah, continue.
It doesn't. But yeah. So, I like the B-roll, and B-roll is the scenes outside of the performance, which is singing or dancing or like main storyline, right? So the B-roll with like them dancing with the skeleton. What is that about? But it was so fun. Vernon literally biting a bullet and it's burning. And it's like almost like he's smoking
Love that shot.
Yeah, great shot. The transitions with the coin, the transitions with the sun, the transitions with the bullet, everything was just great. And it made the transitions into the next members on the next sections or the court. Everything was just hot and cool and great. I loved it. And I think this really just feels like a comic book, like, like 17, it just, everything was just popping up at you. We had some here and there, like some, them alluding to some songs on the album, like Darling, being on the album, and then a bullet hitting a Darling sign. So it was really fun to see that. A lot of Easter eggs I can't quite catch. Things I was really confused about was S-Coops and that blood on his face and then the flying dove. Fans, carrots, listen, if y'all want to tell us what that was about, please drop that theory below because I couldn't catch it. And going back to them being hot boys, I like the characters that some of them did play. Like Junghan was Icarus, but instead of having wax wings, he had steel wings. Wonwoo was some kind of devil/demon. I mean, he steps on his own glasses, has a red eye. That doesn't seem like angels and halos. It gives me very much demon, devil. And where does the devil come from? The hottest place. And at the end, I liked how the sun literally crumbled off like the crust. Things like that. It's just very much like, ooh, it's like apocalyptic, but everyone's having a party. This is amazing. So kudos to them and the production team who did it. So yeah, I mean, even with the choreography, I feel like the video just it didn't really need choreography, but the fact that it was there, I was like, oh, this is fun too.
Yeah.
What do you think about the choreography?
Yeah, so yeah, I think in the video I liked that they didn't show the choreo that much,
Right?
because they didn't need it, and that shows that that it was a good video because I don't love when videos are only dance, aside from Growl, EXO.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the choreography. I think 17 choreography rarely disappoints. It's always a really good mix of difficulty range, cool formations and levels and pictures, good musicality. So yeah, this one is very much in line with that. Yeah, when I heard the chorus, hot, hot, I was like, they're body rolls for sure, right? And like they kind of do. They kind of do with the body rolls.
Oh yeah.
So that was satisfying for me. So we watched the music bank performance that they did this morning for us. First off, these live vocals, they sounded so good. They sounded so good. So
right, they did. Sorry,
I just need to say that first because when we were watching the 17 movie, I was very disappointed because either they just fully dubbed it or they took the live vocals and did extreme processing on it to make them not sound live at all. And they clearly don't need that because they're all very good. So just needed to shout that out. But yeah, the choreo is fun. Overall, it was interesting seeing like their facials and stuff for this. I did watch a couple of like the individual cams, because it's interesting because I think some of them just find this more sexy thing more natural than others. Because some are a bit kind of blank in the face, while others are doing the most with the smizing and the smoldering and the smirks and stuff. Even dance wise, some of them naturally sit in their hips a little bit more. Like their core is a little looser, so they're able to do these more hip focused moves a little better. So it was kind of just interesting kind of seeing that dynamic because I think some of them are just clearly more comfortable than others. But I have to give a shout out to some cool moments that I wanted to point out. Okay. So during Vernon's part of the first verse, only 5 of them do the choreo while all the others are basically just hands up with the gun. Just hands up, and then they just switch their hands at one point. But it's like, that's a picture. Like that, it's so easy, but it looks awesome, right? Again, like I feel like this is, they do really well with stage choreo. Like I think we've said in the past with other episodes that K-pop choreo sounds just hard for no reason. And this was a really good balance of that. Like even during DK's part, like they're just, the others are literally just like doing like a chest pop on the side. But it looks really good. Like you don't need to do anything crazy. So I think that's good to point out. Also, there's this moment in Hoshi's part of the second verse where they're in 2 lines with him in the middle, and they each move up one by one. They right after that part that you just did. They all move in a line, and they're all like switching positions. It is so hard. Having been in many dance crews, it is so hard to get your formation and your spot right when everyone is still moving. And they somehow end up in a perfect formation after that. That is so difficult, so just needed to shout that out. But yes, what did you think of the choreo?
I like the point dance, that hot. I like that part.
Of course.
You know what, listen, because it just allows for that. If you have it, you will see it. Because that move is nothing. That move is absolutely nothing. It's like nada. Nothing's happening. Nothing. It's nothing. But what you bring to it is what's important. Like Mingyu at one point during the music bank performance, he opened up his jacket. I was like, oh my God, Jesus Christ, holy moly. And that's what it takes. That's what it is. Even with, the crossing their hands and then swinging their hips. So simple. I was like, oh my God. It's something that made me go, oh my shit. Oh, I have to go Google your ages. Like, if it makes me feel like I have to go Google your age. If I'm sitting there hitting up Quora, K-pop profiles, shout out K-pop profiles, Soompi, all K-pop to find out how old you are, you did a good job. But I know you're old enough. But
you're right. No, it does force you to perform. If you're given a really simple move, you have to bring some flavor. Yeah, you got to make it entertaining.
Okay, honey, the sabor was there. It was extra picante, okay? It was mewa. It was spicy. So, that is very simple. But I do like the post-chorus that comes around, especially when Hoshi does it, because there's that jump that pops it up. The energy is more present in the choreography than it is vocally. Not saying that the vocals aren't strong, but that little Crump-inspired moment that they have and the whacking into the gun, that is so cool to me because it just takes whacking can be screwed up, and especially with men. No offense, but a lot of men don't have that kind of flexibility with the wrist and the elbow for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But it looks nice and tight when they do it, and I love that little crump moment, because even at the end when Dino is the one and Vernon are the ones doing that post chorus, they are bringing the energy, they're bringing that extra little fire, that oomph, and then, you know, Dino brings it up and I'm like, oof, this young man has grown into a man. It's great. I think the nice pictures that are in there that kind of correlates to the lyrics are like the shadow dance that Woozy and June do. I love that, because if you don't know the words, you're just like, why is he on the floor? That's kind of hot. I just don't know why he's on the floor. But when you do know the words, it's like, oh, a shadow, there's his shadow. You know, he's not afraid of it. It's nice pictures like that. And also that speed punch bag thing, the punching with Woozy's part in the first verse, absolutely fun. Things like that. The choreography itself, though, boy, oof. It is tough, but it also has so many nice grooves that, I kind of want to learn it, but I don't have time to. But honestly, solid performance as usual. Yeah, I would like to say you do. You would kill this.
I would like to learn this. I'm not going to be in New York for most of the summer, though, so I probably can't. But we'll see. Okay. ILD, shout out when you're doing it. All right, so let's talk about final rating. So what do you give this song?
The song was teetering between 7.5 to 8 for me. I don't quite know it just yet. I don't know if it's because I'm just distracted or if the song just didn't do it for me yet. But right now it's sitting at a 7.5. The number is subject to change as I listen to everything, but just thinking about their whole catalog and other songs that they've had, even the Japanese singles that are the cooler tracks, the Japanese singles go hard, right?
Yeah.
So this one, not bad. I'm happy for the Hot Boy concept. So 7.5.
Yes.
How about you?
Yeah, I agree. This was tough for me because I realized I like watching the video performances, but I don't love listening to the actual song. And I did listen to the song first before I watched the video to try not to be inspired or affected by the visuals. And yeah, I wasn't that into it, to be honest. And I listened to the album and I actually like some of the tracks on it more. So yeah, I will actually match you. The song itself, 7.5. But I do enjoy watching the performances and stuff, and from watching all of those, it may grow on me. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's official. The song is a bit, or is it a grower?
It's a grower. It's a grower. I wouldn't fully call it a bop yet.
Yeah, it's a grippity grower.
Exactly. All right, so what do you hope is next for 17? So from what we know, so they just announced the US tour. We know that they are going to get a big push here in the US. Or at least the plan is to get a big push here in the US. So what are you hoping that they do to make it here?
Oh, excuse me. As I flap my lips. Okay, so the thing with me is, like, I think if they are able to maintain their voice as they're proceeding and don't fall into the whole sound like American trap, because what's the point of sitting there getting signed to an American label for being who you are and then coming here and making exactly what everyone else does? I will never understand that. That's just me.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. Just want to get that out of my system. But yeah, I just hope that they're able to maintain their voices, because just because you can't speak Korean doesn't mean songwriters can't adapt the melodies and then make them in English. So I'm hoping that they're able to kind of keep that connection to their sound and not let... I mean, the other single that they had, the English single, wasn't too bad. It was just... It didn't get that 17 punch that it usually gets through the verses and then like the choruses and, you know. So I'm hoping they don't fall too deep down the American hole. But yeah, I'm excited for them. This is good because it will give people another group to look at outside of BTS. No offense to them, but BTS is a smaller group. Now you're getting a larger group whose focus is dance, whose focus is a little bit more EDM. So I'm interested in seeing how they are received here for sure. How about you?
Yeah, I'm curious what type of traction they can gain over here, because from trying to show people that don't like K-pop other K-pop, it's kind of hard because I feel like BTS was very lucky, and obviously they're very talented and their songs were good, but like it's hard to convince people that these other groups are different enough to deserve attention, I guess. So especially because they're also Hybe, I think it'll be interesting to see how they try to make themselves different
Yeah.
And to convince people that they're worthy of a listen. I was underwhelmed by Darling, to be honest. It didn't really do anything for me. It didn't matter that it was in English.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of just whatever for me. So yeah, like I think if they tried to release Hot in English and tried to send it to radio, I don't think it would do anything. So it'll be interesting to see what you were saying, like how they try to maintain their sound while still trying to attempt the American influence. Like, I think that dynamic will be interesting to see. And hopefully they don't sell out too much.
Yeah, honestly, say it. Shoot, don't be a sellout. Just sorry, guys. Love you.
Yeah. All right. So, Carrots and everyone else watching, let us know what you all think about Hot. Let us know in the comments below, or you can message us at CCTV Pops on all social media. You can also join us on Patreon. Special shout out to Lisette, because I know you love 17, so I hope you liked our little rundown of it, and we'd love to hear what you thought of the track. But yeah, you can also all be like Lisette and give us ideas for our next episodes. If you're watching on YouTube, please give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. And for our listeners, please give us a rating and review on your podcast platform of choice. Until next time, that's Shan.
That's Chris.
And we are CCTV.
Ha, ha.